what did the prophet say to you? See, when you in them situations like Dixon here was talking about, you got to go with what the prophet say to you. What did the prophet say? See, you got to go with your teachers. Sometimes I have failed to go with my teachers. I want to go with myself. I want to go with this finished thought. I want to go with what I've been taught from someone else. I don't want to go with what I've been taught for the prophet because it didn't react fast enough. Got to slow my thoughts down.
That's right.
So that I can demonstrate the message that I bring. See, these teachings is about being the strength of Allah made manifest, Mom. See, you got to be able to have the strength when the foe comes. Without a foe,
A
soldier don't never know it, Mom. We just sung a song. We are the soldiers of Drew Ali. So we have to stand we got to stand firm when we demonstrating with these teachers. Because you know why? Every evil spirit is on the move, trying to tear down and drag out your foundation that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali put in you. It ain't gonna stop. It ain't gonna stop. Oh, we got these lessons down today. But the tempter's still there. The lower self is still there. So you got to be able to crush it and tame it at its purpose. You see? It ain't gonna stop. You think, oh, I'm good today. I got these lessons. I accomplished that foe today. It's another one coming down the road. You have to remain being strong. That's why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali has told the Moors that it's a field open for strong men and women. You know why? Because the weak ain't gonna come here and help keep these temple doors open so we can pass the torch down to the next generation.
That's right, brother.
Because the weakness of man don't want to bear that splendor. He don't want it. But guess what? The Moors that are strong, they want it. I want the challenge. We don't care if it's one member or 100 members in the temple. We're going to open the doors and we're going to teach like it was a whole group of us, a whole lot of us. Because guess what? Not only do we teach it to the Moors, but we got to minister to ourselves. You know, we got to give ourselves some ministry. We got to go in these teachings and find ourselves. See, because we lost. We are a lost soul. This is the preparation age of soul to get you right before you go see your Father God, Allah. You got to get right with God now. You got to get right with Allah, you see. The more we're talking about the tempter and the harbinger paved the way. When the harbinger paved the way, when he sat in the marketplace, the harbinger said this here he delivered one message to the common people. But what he said to the rulers and the rich and the scribes, he told them a heathen from afar will come and take all this away. See, somebody else can sound like Pareto or Rainbow, sound real good and prolific, but they ain't demonstrating the truth. A heathen is one that don't serve the same God that you serve and try to flip you over to serve his God. Do you want a heathen to come and snatch it away from you? You got to stand firm, Mo. Don't let that heathen get to you. When the logos are introduced to man as love made manifest, Jesus went in and started his divine ministry. And I'm going to go to that chapter that the sister read from. And I'm going to start on verse 2. And it said, he went forth into the wilderness to be alone with Allah. that he might look into his inner heart and know his strength and worthiness. You got to take time out to be alone with Allah so that you can understand what Allah is blessing you with.
That's right.
See, blessings come to you and you'll miss them because you ain't still. You'll miss them because your thoughts is wandering with you. It's very wavering. You got to slow your thoughts down, bring them in, and concentrate and focus and hold a thought.
That's right, brother.
See, if you can't hold a thought,
That's right.
you can't get this here.
That's right.
You see, you ain't gonna get the blessings that you're looking for because you can't hold a thought. Jesus had a thought when the tempter came. When the tempter come to you, is you gonna hold the thought? Is you gonna hold the thought of the great God Allah made manifest when the tempter come? He's coming. See, you gotta be well studied. You gotta be studied up. You got to be practicing these teachings. You see, we ain't got to only talk about them. We got to practice these teachings. And the only way you're going to be able to practice them is when the tempter and the foe come. You ain't practicing them just by standing up here demonstrating your magic. You practice these teachings when something happened in your life and you go to what you know to solve the problem. You got to solve your problem. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us man is sure to find himself. But he can solve his problems best.
Right.
You might not be able to solve your problems right now at this particular time. So you might have to go sit yourself down somewhere and close the door and think about, what did I just say? What did I just do? What just happened? I can't let that happen no more, like the Mo demonstrated. You can't let things get you off your square when you understand what you need to do. Understanding is the rock. That's the rock, Mo. You got to have understanding. Your understanding, Mo, is a gift that comes from Allah, Mo. That's what your understanding is. It's a gift that comes from Allah. It's not only the gnosis of the alt and of the naught, but it's also the sensings of the powers of man himself. Do you know what kind of power you possess? Do you understand the power that you got when you got these lessons in your life? When you studying these lessons and practicing these lessons, you carry a certain aura about yourself. You carry your 5 highest principles. You got your principle badge on. When you got your principle badge on, we ain't talking about just that physical badge that you put on your garment. We talking about in your heart. When you got your principle badge tattooed and buried in your heart, it's like a mirror, Mo. It'll direct and reflect that evil in another direction. It'll bounce up off you because you demonstrate something that can't be broken. You bring hate, I bring love. It bounce right up off of me.
That's right.
You bring a lie, I bring the truth. It's gonna bounce right up off of me. You see, I'm gonna let somebody else deal with that now. I'm gonna let it bounce up off of me because I'm gonna keep my principal badge on. I ain't gonna take mine off and put it on like the pen on that thing. I'm gonna pin it in here. You got to put love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice in your heart and in your life, in your everyday walk of life. That's what you got to do. You got to have that in your life. Them ain't your principles for no reason. These are principles that you need to carry with you and practice. That's why they are known as the 5 high. You know, you have all kinds of principles that you adopt along the way in your life. before we met the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I thought I had some principles before I met the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Couldn't find out all my principles made off of no. I didn't have no divine principles in my life. So once I stood on them principles that I had for naught. I stood on them in a hard way. I take that same energy and stand on the divine principles. And that caused me to miss a lot of foolishness that I was a victim to in the past.
That's right.
I was a victim to the principles that I was holding in the past. They didn't do me no good. They always caused me harm. But the divine principles is a whole nother demonstration. Let me ask you something. When you stand before the face of men and ask proof of your messiahship, what you gonna say? See, don't just look at it as that Jesus. You have to look at it as yourself. What you gonna say when it's your time to stand up for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and this Moorish movement? See, we stand individually and to save ourselves, but we also stand collectively to keep the Prophet Noble Drew Ali movement moving. You see, that's where we come together as a collective whole. You can't save me and I can't save you. You got to do that yourself. But as a collective whole, we can keep this Moorish movement moving for the next generation.
That's right, brother.
See, that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
Them Moors that came before us, they stood strong and kept the temple doors open. Now you think we got here? If they would have been weak, if they'd have fell off their square, we wouldn't be here today.
That's right.
So we have to take the next step for our children and for the next generation to come in. Because guess what? One day, just when we came in the temple and we was looking at sister and other members, them was our elders. That's what? Stay in the temple long enough, you gonna be somebody's elder. And so you have to demonstrate what your elders put in you. Islam?
Islam.
I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. Y'all know I start getting carried away. I don't want to do that. I want to thank y'all for this time. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy coming down here, demonstrating with the Moors all the time. I enjoy y'all celebration tomorrow. It's a blessing. And with that, I say peace.
Peace.